Hi, this is Rhonda Kopp, the Money Coach. Thank you for joining us today. We have such a special guest for you today. It's going to be a really cool, fascinating discussion. Joining us is Monika Moss-Gransberry, and she is both a visionary and a designer of life mapping. And she's going to tell us what that is. But what's really cool is like so many of us, you and me, and everyone she's been on her own journey to wholeness and self mastering for many years. And she's the author of several books. And she's got a brand new book coming out in October called The Technology of Doing, Creating, and Being. But with her business career spanning over 30 years, Monica's dedicated her talents to transforming organizations and building the capacity of individuals as a coach, a consultant, and with the company she founded, MKM Management Consulting. So, as a coach, Monica's a trusted thinking partner, and this might be just exactly what you're looking for. So, let's all take the opportunity to welcome Monica to the show. Hey, Monica, thank you for joining us.
Oh, Rhonda, hi. Thank you for having me. I'm very honored to be here and to speak to you and your guests about some of the things that I've been paying attention to and some of my clients
Well, I'm called the
around
money
this.
coach. So sometimes I get a little obsessed with the money. But tell me, as you do what you do, your mapping and your interaction of the human and the human spirit, when you start attracting and manifesting your dreams, it's not all about the money. That's just one component, right?
Well, yeah, and more important than money is what do you want to do with it? So, the more you focus on the things you want, your lifestyle, your enjoyment, the things you're looking forward to being, the things you're looking forward to around your future, you know, then the money becomes a secondary thing. Because most of us want money because we're trying to solve some problem or we're trying to get access to something. So we want money for security. We want money because we want to be able to buy things or do things that require resources. And a lot of so if you focus on the thing that you want, the things you want the money for, a lot of times either the money will come or you'll find some wonderful creative way of manifesting that doing or that receiving without money. It's just an amazing thing.
It sounds really interesting. Now tell us, because I didn't include all of that in your introduction. How did you come to being able to do this? Because this sounds like a pretty specialized thing that you do for people, for your clients.
Well, I have a very eclectic past. I started out in the theater, and after graduate school, I started working for a nonprofit organization that provided consulting and training to other nonprofits. And so I was mentored into doing organizational consulting and strategic planning during back then, way back in the 80s, in the old. Um, Part of what happened then was my mentor and I decided we needed to do what we did for our clients for ourselves, our own personal lives. And that was the beginning of life mapping. And then as time has gone by, it has evolved. I was using it just for myself, and I started sharing with friends, and I started doing workshops, and then people kept saying, you need to write a book, you need to write a book. And finally, I did. And Now we have an online community. The second book is coming out, The Technology of Doing, Creating, and Being. And things are gaining some momentum. And it's such a testimony of the things that I've been envisioning for many years now starting to manifest. And so it's a combination of using the spiritual principles in action of managing and focusing your thoughts on what you do want versus what you don't want, of paying attention to your language, of focusing in a good way on your actions, your strategy, your big actions, listening to your spirit and obeying what you hear back in return. So, and all of these practices all of these principles take practice. It doesn't happen overnight. So, in the courses that I teach, a lot of the exercises just are letting you practice on a small scale, so that a lot of times I'll say just practice manifesting a parking space and listening to your spirit about where that parking space is, so that you can just begin to build the muscle and the discipline and the skills that you need on your self-mastery journey to begin to manifest in a very powerful and consistent manner whatever it is that is needed in that moment or your bigger vision in life. And so material things are a part of our world, and they're perfectly wonderful to want. And a lot of times we need money to make that happen. And so that is, like you said earlier, is a part of people's life maps that I encourage, and for them, but to do the work they need to do around whatever things they have, statements or ideas or perceptions they have swallowed whole from wherever they got them from their religion, from their parents, from their grandparents, from their neighbors or society or their culture, about money that gets in their way. I'm sure you do a lot of that mindset work with your clients.
You have no idea how often the mindset is the number one stumbling block to getting your finances in order. In most of the cases, you are absolutely right. It will trip you up almost every single time.
Yeah, and really, what we think is what we manifest. And so clearing out kind of thoughts that don't serve you, even if they served you at one time, but now they don't serve you anymore because you want something new or different, it's so important to do that inner work. And that's why a lot of what our focus is on this journey to self-mastery. So how do you know yourself enough? How do you become so self-aware that you understand your triggers, you understand what's getting in your way, and have some strategies on how to manage it, how to move through that in a quicker, in a faster way so that you don't get stuck. And you can just move obstacles and blocks easily and fluidly out of your way so that you're continuing always to move forward towards whatever your vision is, for your life and your lifestyle and the things that you want.
That is so cool. Now, would you suggest that before the new book comes out, people should read the previous book?
Well,
Does this
people
one
are,
build on that one? That was what I was kind of wondering. So people get the
well,
full wonderful
yeah.
experience.
Yeah, well, it's very interesting because it is my latest thinking. And at the way I've been describing it to others is the first book is really the doing part. The how do you get clear? There's exercises in the first book, so that if you follow and do the exercises by the end of your reading the book, you will have sketched out your life map. What you
Oh,
want, your vision, how you're going to get it, what's it. You'll have identified some things that are in the way, and you'll have an action plan at the end. Now, a lot of times people read the book, they don't do any of the exercises. They call me and tell me how much they love the book, and I say, well, what did you think of what was the impact of the exercises? Well, I didn't do those yet. So then that's what it prompted me to create the digital course and start our online community, because I think people need support. Then this new book, The Technology of Doing, Creating, and Being, is really the 9 spiritual or human technologies that support people manifesting the things that they want. So it's really like, when you're, how do you get clear? What is the theoretical underpinnings and the value of these principles, and some of how they can be put into action, given my story and the stories of others that, I'm sharing in the book.
Oh, that's really
It
cool.
doesn't have the exercises. Now, my editor was like, Monika, this is the best book you're ever going to write. And I was like, well, I'm not buying into that thought pattern, because I'm sure there's another book in me and I want it to be equally as good or better. But she was very impressed. She was saying that as a huge compliment, and I understood that, and I also understand the power of words, and really am conscious of what I'm agreeing to, because that, when 2 people agree, it's done in the spirit world. Actually, when you ask for it, it's done in the spirit world. And then how do you begin to raise your vibration and move in a way that allows it to manifest in your physical reality, so you can feel it, touch it, and see it, use it? And that's the thing that I think most of us struggle with, is how do we begin to be in a way that allows us to touch and feel and see the things that we've been asking for.
Absolutely.
And that really has to do with your vibration.
Yep. I call it, I just had to get out of my own way.
Yes, I agree.
Yes.
And having a process, having a process that helps you get out of your own way is so important.
Yes. So I want to take this opportunity right now so people can rush out and get the first book and do the workbook. And then when the second book comes out in October, they'll be ready for it. So the first book is called Life Mapping, A Journey of Self-Discovery and Path-Finding. And that is the workbook format, so that you can start your process. And then the best book that she can write, and I'm going to add to that right now.
There you go, right now. I agree with that.
Yep, the Technology of Doing, Creating, Being is launching in October. So you still have time to get your life mapping started, and then you'll be ready for this Technology of Doing, Creating, and Being, because this is so crucial. And the more people I talk to, and the more people like yourself that are experts in these kinds of things, the more I come to realize is that your own mind and your own self-talk is what will get you there or hold you back. And if that's the case, why don't you want to buy 2 books that will get you there?
You're great. And you're so right.
Why do you want to hold yourself back?
I know.
The only time you want to hold yourself back is when you're driving and you want a seatbelt on so you don't go through the windshield.
Well, yeah. Yeah, and you can find both of the books on our website, mossgransberry.com, or on Amazon, both in the Kindle section and paperback.
Oh, cool.